Welcome back. In this view, we're going to give a very brief overview of the menu bar and a couple of other options you have in Twitter. This is not intended to instruct you in how to use all of these things, but just to let you know that they're available, and should you decide to be a real Twitter user, that these are things to look into. The first is the home button, which will bring you back to the main page where we spend most of our time. Second is something called Moments. Okay, and these are basically interesting collections. What Twitter thinks right now is interesting things that are going on, kind of like a news sort of thing, but by different categories, and it's presenting to you here. Okay, you can see that this is current stuff that's come out today. It's currently sorted by election, the NFL, news, sports, entertainment, and fun, and this to some degree can change over time. There's also a relatively new feature where you can create a moment yourself. So you can participate in this, and other people may see it depending on their settings and their preferences, etc. The third option in this menu bar is notifications. And this will create a list for you when certain things happen. Now you know you're already following, if you signed up for an account, you're already following a number of people, perhaps. But if people decide to follow you, if you become active on Twitter and you're tweeting and people, some people decide they like what you're saying, they may decide to follow you, and that list would be here. You would also be notified if someone liked one of your tweets. So if you send out a tweet, there's the option, like there is in Facebook, to like a post. Someone can just click and like it, and those would be mentioned here. Another option people have when they receive a tweet is to retweet it. So I got this great educational resource from someone I'm following, and I'm not sure that a lot of my colleagues have gotten it, and so I just retweet it out to them. Well, if somebody retweets your tweets, you'll get a list of that here. And we previously discussed how to do a mention. Well, if somebody mentions you in one of their tweets, again, that information would be in here. Last option in that menu bar is to talk privately, and you can send direct messages back and forth between other Twitter users if you want. It just keeps it out of the public sphere. One last area to look at will be the egg. In the egg you'll find certain things like your profile. Mine is incomplete, but you could go in there, complete your profile, or make edits to an existing profile. We've talked about moments. Here's a help link. Keyboard shortcuts. If you're a very avid, Twitter user, you may decide that it behooves you to learn some shortcuts. And settings. So let's take a look at settings for a second. You'll notice they're extensive. We're not going to go through them all. This is basic account information here. This section has to do with security and password, security and privacy. That's important. Here's where you can reset your password. Here, if you didn't enter a mobile phone number, but you decide you like the platform and want to receive things on your mobile phone, you can either add or edit that information in here. And various things about when you'll get email notifications or other types of notifications, etc. Blocked accounts. So there's a lot of settings in here. Just know that if you want to adjust your experience with Twitter, this is the place to come. A lot of things in there. And something I skipped over was this lists function that I'll talk about briefly. Basically a list, and you can create your own list here, allows you to set up a conversation with a select group of people. So if I have 5 colleagues and we're working in the same subject area, and we all like Twitter and want to use this as a way to communicate, I can create a list in here with those particular Twitter handles, and then use that list so we can tweet back and forth between just the people on that list without it being public. Okay, that's the very basics of settings and options you have in Twitter. There is a lot more, and if you become interested in it, a lot of good tutorials out there. We'll come back with our final video in this series, and that will be devoted to different ways we might want to use Twitter to find educational resources and things that can improve us professionally.